it's Ursi. This is my first video going over Pokémon Worlds TCG format. I'm so excited to get to show you guys Charizard EX this week with Dusknoir from Shrouded Fable. So let me introduce you to our highly acclaimed guest this week, Grant Manley. He got 12th place at NAIC as well as 4th place both at Indianapolis Regionals with Pidgeot Control and 4th place at San Antonio Regionals with Charizard EX. That being said, Grant, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Percy. And yeah, I'm Grant. I've been playing Pokemon TCG competitively for a very long time now. I want to say like coming up on, I guess, over 10 years competitively, and from North Carolina on the East Coast. And yeah, about to play in the World Championships. Not sure what I am going to play, but I've been playing a lot of Charizard this format. So yeah, I think it's a very strong deck, and yeah, thank you again for having me.
Awesome. So what do you like about Charizard? It kind of freaks me out trying to figure out when to pop the Dusknoirs or not. Tell me a little bit how you're feeling with it.
Yeah, I really like the kind of the depth that Dusknoir adds to the deck, though it does make things a lot more complicated. So it can get pretty crazy, especially in those mirror matches. It just gets crazy. But I really like the agency that Pidgeot EX gives you, and it lets you kind of do whatever you want. It feels like the deck is a lot more consistent, whereas some of the other decks like Regidrago is just wild variance machine with like milling your top 7 cards to your deck, and a lot of decks are like that. Lugia is another good example. But I like the stable, Pidgeot EX. Sometimes you don't get to do everything, but it's very consistent, and it gives you a lot of options. So I really like that feeling of control over the game that having quick search gives me.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's so nice just being able to search for like whatever you want at any time. I've tried Regidrago a little bit, and I swear I keep going and just decking myself out every single time.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem. I actually have been having recently a problem with Charizard though, where I'm like, oh, I got this. I'm gonna take 3 prizes, and I'm like, wait, they're on 1 prize. I'm dead if I pop this thing. So hopefully you can teach me the way of the Dusknoir.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go on and pull up this list if you're okay with going on and discussing it. I think you sent it to me. Would you like to talk me through this list and tell me a little bit about the text you have in here? And what cards you find most important, what you could switch out, what changes you might make, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, this is my current Charizard list. It's mostly standard, but there are a couple things that are non-standard. So yeah, obviously the main plan is to set up Pidgeot and then go Zard EX, and I have been finding myself using the Radiant Zard a lot more in this format. Because a lot of these decks, like Regidrago and Raging Bolt, are like just taking so many prize cards so quickly that you kind of have to just pivot into the Rad Zard. So some games you're not even attacking with the Charizard EX.
Oh wow!
But for the most part, those are like your only 2 attackers. I would say the most non-standard things I have is still having the Cleffa, which I get is a liability in some matchups, but I have been using it a lot, so I've really been liking the Cleffa. It just gives you a lot more options off your opening hand and can help you recover if your board gets wiped as well. I only have the 1 copy of Duskull, which is going to be a little controversial, but I definitely, the second Duskull is very good in the mirror match, and anything with Cornerstone Ogerpon, you're really going to want that second Duskull. Other than that, though, I haven't found it to be too important. It's not as needed in, your Lugia, Regidrago, Raging Bolt, stuff like that. So I think you can get away with Duskull. And I also play... Oh, I actually don't have it in this list, but I added a Hisuian Heavy Ball. Well, I've been trying it out, so Hisuian Heavy Ball is something I've been trying out. Sorry, I don't have it updated in that list, but I tried out cutting the 3rd Charmander for that just the other day. So that can help if Duskull gets prized. Not entirely sure if you should be playing the Heavy Ball or not, but it does help if the Duskull is prized or if anything else is prized. So those are like the 2 main things.
So I know even I have a lot of arguments with my friends on it. I was a big believer that you basically always go second with Charizard because, like, it's hard to set up. Now I'm not really sure with Fezandipiti about, like, getting extra babies might be easier. But what do you think of going, like, which matchups do you go first with? Which matchups do you go second with? And how do you really decide between the two?
Yeah, that is a great question. So for a long time, my rule of thumb was go second against anything that can attack you on turn 1.
Okay.
Because you get an option to play Arven and set up before they KO something. So the examples would be Cramorant, Raging Bolt. You know, you would go first. You don't have Arven. They knock you out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now you're behind by like 2 prizes for no reason. So you don't want to go second against the decks that can attack you on turn 1.
Okay.
Zard obviously loves to play the Arven and the Lumineon to set up. So going second is pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But against decks that don't attack you on turn 1, they can't really punish you if you don't have a good start. So if you go first and like do nothing, it doesn't matter. You just the next turn you just do the same thing you would have done on going second. So basically your turn 2 going first is the same as your turn 1 going second. However, going first gives you the potential upside of getting Pidgeot out on turn 2 going first, which all you need is a Pidgey and then like Candy Pidgeot or Ultra Ball or some configuration of that on the next turn. But the main thing is having the Pidgey on turn 1.
So we already mentioned Gardevoir. What is your like picture perfect startup and then like win con against Gardevoir?
Yeah, so I would love to just like get turn 2 Zard and split them out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really do that a lot of times because they often will push Mimikyu, or they'll threaten you with Devo, so you can't always just go Candy Pidge, Candy Zard. Like, they used to not play Devo, but now they play Devo.
Yeah.
So it's going to become a very slow and grindy game. Lots of times you want to boss the Curlias, but you also want to save the boss for the Gardevoir EX. So a lot of times you can start out by... You can just kind of sit there, evolve... You go Candy Pidgeot like normal, and then like evolve the Charmeleon up manually. So you want to save the candies, so you don't just lose to Devo. You might also need candy for Dusknoir later. If you do have to kill the Mimikyu, you're probably going to do it with Dusknoir. But a lot of times I just try to go around it. So like I like using the Fezandipiti to just KO Curlias, and then if they put Manaphy on their bench, I can play Collapsed. And Dusknoir the Manaphy, or I could just Dusknoir a Curlia, and either way their board is severely crippled. So if they, they're a very slow deck, so you have time to set up whatever you want. So as long as you don't leave yourself open to, Stamp Devo, or I don't know, like anything like that where they could come back into the game, you usually can get a stranglehold on the game by just limiting their bench.
So what do you think about the Lugia matchup? Is there like anything special going into it? It's been winning a lot of tournaments, it feels like. How do you feel about Lugia with the Charizard EX?
Yeah, so the Lugia matchup is pretty interesting. I don't have Hammer in my list currently. I think that's a card that would very easily swing the matchup because a lot of times they want to use Iron Hands early, and then it has a Legacy energy on it. So you want to, like, they Iron Hands you, and you'd rather just KO an Archeops, but then if they have Boss, then they get 2 more prizes, and that's a disaster. So if you wanted to just easily beat it, you could Hammer the Legacy, or later you could use it with Stamp or Iono to hammer the gift, and then Iono them. But I will say Dusknoir does help this matchup a little bit because it makes it a lot harder for them to build a big Cinccino. Because if you KO an Archeops, a lot of times they'll put out a Minccino with like 2 energy and like 2 Archeops. And then you want to KO an Archeops, so then they can still use Cinccino. If you KO the Cinccino, then they still have both their Archeops. So the Dusknoir obviously doesn't really do much against the Archeops, but it does delete a Cinccino or a Minccino with the energy, so it allows you to go after both at the same time. Problem is it's a little bit slow to get there. So if Lugia has their Lugia start where they Ultra Ball 2 Archeops turn 1 and then get set up on turn 2, it can be a little tough. They do need like Iron Hands and then a boss. Sometimes you can actually put up the Radiant Zard sometimes to stop the Iron Hands, so that can be pretty good.
That's true.
But again, this is another one of those matchups like Lost Box where if they set up really fast, it can be hard. But overall, I think it's solid. If you're able to set up like without going too far behind, like without going like 4 prize cards behind.
So how do you feel about Regidrago?
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked. So the Regidrago matchup is not nearly as bad as people will have you believe. And the reason for that is because Regidrago not only isn't the most consistent thing in the world. Now, don't get me wrong. Regidrago is a very broken deck. It's very powerful, and they can use Kyurem and kill all of your little Pidgeys, and it's very sad. So there are a couple things that can happen. Well, first I'll say mostly the game depends on if they can keep you off of Pidgeot. If you get Pidgeot out, I think you just win most of the time. And if they deny the Pidgeot with like turn 2 Dragon Bolt going first, it's very tough. So you might lose a lot of those. However, Fezandipiti can help you out with that, and Radiant Zard helps you out a lot with that. So a lot of times I'll attach to Radiant Zard early. Just like with Raging Bolt, Dusclops is only good if you're the aggressor. So if you have, your Zard's only hitting for 180, can't KO anything. Dusclops solves that for you, but usually they will be the aggressor, so you can go, if they go up 1 prize, you go Radiant Zard Defiance Band, or sorry, not Radiant Zard. If they go up 1 prize, you go Zard EX and like Counter Catcher, and if they go up 2 prizes, you go Radiant Zard Defiance Band. The worst case is they just wipe everything out with Kyurem, and or like Halucha Dragapult or something like that, and nothing you can do about that. But it's not over because they discard all of their energy off of their Regidrago, and then you play Unfair Stamp, and you reset up your board, and it's all good. And then they can't do anything because they lost all their energy, they got stamped, and usually you can make comebacks that way. So I don't think the matchup is unfavored. Objectively, I think it's 50-50. Now I know that's going to be very controversial, but actually, if I was to choose between playing the Zard side or the Regidrago side, I would rather be on the Zard side.
So how do you feel about the mirror match of Charizard? I know it's always been a little bit of a chess game, but how are your feelings on it?
It used to be a chess game, and now it's a chess game with, bombs dropping on the board, and everything is crazy, and it's just maximum chaos. So it used to make a lot more sense, and it's just super chaotic now. I will say my list with the one Duskull, has a slight disadvantage because the version with 2 Duskull, you'd rather have 2 Duskull in the mirror. So, the mirror match is crazy. There's a lot to consider with a Duskull on the board, but if there's no Duskull on the board, it's like the same as it was before. Their damage is very predictable, and you can sort of play around their next damage increment. But when the Duskull's on the board, all bets are off. Anything could happen. You have to really consider what their options are based on their board, and if they can delete your board. And it's just crazy. There's so much more to think about.
Do we put Pidgey up first or Charmander? I don't know which one.
I think since we have 2 Pidgey, probably throw one of them to the wolves and then help the other one.
The guy's got a Worlds thing. Surely this will be a real matchup. That's my hope and dream.
There might be sometimes what you start with depends if you're going first or second. We're going first. That's okay. This hand is pretty solid if we're going first. So maybe since we were going first, maybe we would open... Nah, I think we would still open Mander. Or we would still open Pidgey in case it's a deck that could attack.
That makes sense.
So that's fine.
Play both of them, or...?
I think we could maybe hold on to Pidgey. But yeah, we definitely want to play the Mander.
Okay. And do you want me to play any of the energies?
Nah, I would save those for now, I think.
Okay, then.
We're pretty happy with Pidgey-Mander here. Sometimes you do go double Pidgey in the mirror match, but I found that bench space, it's like a little different. Like, you used to pretty much always do that, but now now you don't always do that. Bench space is a little more tight with the Duskull and the Fezandipiti.
That makes sense.
I'm not 100% sure who we should put down here. The energy I usually like to hang on to because sometimes we want to use him for Radzar or Fez or retreating or Ultra Balling it away. Since Zard EX always gets the energy out of the deck for us, there's really no need to attach energy. There's really no need to attach energy to like Zard or Mander. Usually, there's like exceptions to everything, of course. But
Let's see. Is he using the V-Star already? Oh no. Makes sense, I guess.
yeah, they're going for the. One thing I really like to do actually is play Jamming Tower on their V-Star or on their 4 Seal Stone. If they don't use it, it's very funny.
That makes a lot of sense.
It entertains me so much when I get to do that. But, yeah, now our Jamming Tower is not very good anymore, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. But we get the first Pidgeot, so that's cool.
Let's go. Another energy.
Okay. Not great to draw all these energy, but that's okay.
Yeah. Arven, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do Arven.
It's
Usually I'm checking, the first things I'm checking are 4 Seal Stone,
4 Seal Stone,
energy, and candies, and super rods.
So we have 1 candy in hand, 3 here, so they're all of them. Yeah. We got 3 energies in hand, 3 here, we have all the energies. Super rod. We have 2 super rods.
Okay.
And then Ultra Ball, I'm assuming, or?
Yeah, let's just grab Ultra Ball and I guess 4 Seal Stone maybe for later.
Okay.
Yeah, usually I recommend prize checking the cards that most affect how you play the game. So, like, most affect your decision making. So, a lot of times your decisions, like with Charizard EX, Super Rod, and etc., go into like how many energy you have, and then obviously 4 Seal Stone with like the Arven.
That makes sense.
Let's just go get Pidgeot here.
Energy, I assume?
Yeah, that seems good.
Okay. Pidgeot? Make Pidgeot, and what should we get with Pidgeot?
That is a great question. I think now is a great time to show the haters why we play Cleffa. We get PAF in. We just get PAF in. And then get Cleffa. And Cleffa does die to the Duskull, but I think that's fine. I'm not too worried about that.
Charmander and Cleffa?
Yeah, I think I like that. And then where are we attaching? Could attach to Mander, or we could attach to Pidgeot. I'm really not sure. I'll leave it up to you.
Me? No, I'm just the. You're the coach.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine either way. Just not Cleffa. Anywhere but Cleffa is fine.
Let's do a Charmander.
Now we kind of wish we did attach last turn. We're kind of getting punished, but whatever. It's fine.
It happens. It happens.
Still good to keep our options open with the flexibility of the energy. So another, yeah. So I think this line is fine. We could have maybe even gone Duskull Cleffa. But man, I don't know. There's just so many ways this can go. I don't have enough experience to tell you like 100% of the time what lines are like super optimal. So Duskull Cleffa there. They're probably not going to have Candy Zard boss. And even if they do, we're okay with them bossing for 1 prize. And then we can just attack with Pidgeot if our only Mander died. But this way we just guarantee the Mander that we don't have the Duskull, but that probably doesn't matter. I think this is reasonable. This also lets us go like Zard, Charmeleon potentially.
Let's see.
Or just Charmeleon. But maybe attacking with Pidgeot would have been better, so maybe we do attach to Pidgeot. So basically what I'm thinking is the reason that we would attach to Mander is because we know that energy is going to get used anyway. So it's not really a waste of an energy because we're probably going to use that anyway on the Zard. Whereas attaching to Pidgeot would just give us more options and more flexibility for the next turn.
Makes sense.
Attacking with Pidgeot isn't so bad early on because they can't one-shot it. I guess they could Candy Dusknoir, but they don't have Candy Dusknoir, Candy Pidge, Candy Zard. I'm sorry. I don't know. No, is this what you want me to be doing, or should I just?
Of course, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah. So the attach to Pidgeot would give us a little more flexibility, but could be ended up wasting energy because we are not always attacking Pidgeot. Also, if they hit the Pidgeot, that puts it into Dusknoir range, which is also not good. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to consider here.
Let's see.
We are going to go King Pidge, King Zard. It's fine. So, what do you think would be our best play on this next turn here?
Rotom? We got Ultra Ball, you get the candy. Boss Rotom, boom.
That does seem, I do like that. That seems pretty good.
That's where my brain's going.
I think that's fine. I think it's pretty good. They're only going to have a 3-card hand here. They do have the Dusclops.
I feel like that's going on the Cleffa.
Oh, it is going on the Cleffa. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that, I think. So now we're... Yeah, now this is a great point as to why we get double Mandarins. Now we can just feed them a Mandarin, or maybe we feed them Pidgeot and keep Dusclops off the board.
Which do you want?
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, just give them the Pidgeot, I guess.
Pidgeot? I don't know. I'm scared. Oh no.
They can hit the Pidgeot, but that only matters if they get a
Duskull's back.
It only matters if they get Dusknoir. So all we have to do is stop them from Dusknoiring the Pidgeot, and it's fine. We're probably not going to collapse their turret with this Pidgeot because it's too important.
Okay.
So, a couple options here.
Ultra Ball?
Yeah. Ultra Ball seems good.
I'm gonna say Mander Energy.
Yeah, I like that. I agree.
Perfect. Let's see.
We maybe get Fez there. I'm not entirely sure.
Do I do just one or should I get more?
Yeah, let's just do one. Yeah, we're running a little low on energy, so that seems good.
And then what should I get with the quick search? Fez? But yeah, I see what you mean. You're probably supposed to get Fez in the last Ultra Ball.
Yeah, I think Fez seems fine. Yeah, because then we could potentially get Zard with Fez or Duskull.
Yeah.
There's just so many lines here. And then putting the Fez down is fine because we already have that Pidgeot as a target, as a 2-prize target. So it's not really a liability.
That makes
sense. Just go after the Pidgeot. And then when they do go after the Pidgeot, we still have Fez. All right.
This is Duskull?
Yeah. Good. So yeah, let's just do that.
And then boss order the Rotom?
Yeah, that seems good.
We go 210. Please don't hurt us. Let's see.
Yeah, they're probably just going to boss the Pidgeot. Well, if they boss the Pidgeot, we're just ahead. So what they might end up doing is bossing the Fez and putting Duskull down, or maybe even bossing the Duskull. But they have to get Duskull, and we have to stop them from getting Dusknoir. They're already down 2 candies. So we could even potentially win next turn as well. It's a possibility.
With Dusknoir, I guess, or?
Dusknoir.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, now we're probably not going to win next turn. That's okay. They have the Binding Moki, which I don't usually see alongside Dusknoir. Usually it's just one or the other. And I don't know.
How are they going to poison their guy, though?
That is a great question. I would assume
don't you have to have
EX, but they don't have Grant EX. So
I love the Petrant in this deck, by the way. When people put it in for the
it's pretty nifty. But it looks like that Binding Moki is just for decoration right now. That is a terrible use of Unfair Stamp because they just Ioned us to 3. So that makes absolutely no sense. And then we get our own Unfair Stamp, but we don't get knocked out, so we can't use it.
Sad.
Okay. Okay, I think... Well, what do you think?
I have no clue right now. Realistically. I think we need to do something so it doesn't time us out.
Yeah, let's click quick search.
We don't even get to use Fezandipiti because they did. He's at 5, so he's only at 210. Did we have candy or is that last hand? That was last hand.
Okay, I think we're gonna boss the Duskull.
Boss Duskull, is what you're saying?
It's our last boss, but I think that's fine. This is very, very tough, but I think we do that. Man, yeah. And then if our Zard gets, because we just don't want to get double KO'd from. We just don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to keep that off the board. We could have maybe played the Jamming Tower if we're thinking they might have Devo, but
Um.
yeah, they probably don't, right? Like, no way.
Well, let's go. We have Dusknoir now. I didn't know it was prized.
That's a very nice card. Very nice card to have here.
They do what, 300 flat now?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, this is a weird one because they're just hitting our guys. So we may eventually say, yeah, it just depends what they do. I wonder if, yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much we could really do with that hand.
Let's see.
But yeah, we're pretty much just gonna have to try to win next turn. So we'll see what they get. I think using the boss is fine because we have the Duskull, but they might KO our
Okay.
Duskull. Yeah, they're gonna KO. Oh, they're gonna not KO our Duskull. Okay. They
That
should've
seems
KO'd our-
weird.
They should have KO'd our Duskull there. This matchup is very hard. There's so much going on. My brain is hurting.
Let's see. Collapse Stadium. They're taking off the burb. Oh, they just took off a Charmander.
That's fine. Okay. Now, the big question here is, do we stamp or Fez first? We already have the Dusknoir. All we need is candy. I have no idea. I think I have Fez here. I think we just click Fez and hope to get, like, Ultra Ball Lumineon, Arven candy. That's all there is to it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
We get Lumineon.
I think that works.
Lumineon, Arven, Candy. We haven't tossed Lumineon, right? What if we don't have Lumineon in deck? We should check with Buddy Poffin.
I think it's in the deck, but yeah, we can check.
I'm gonna check real quick. I'm scared.
Okay, no harm in that.
Okay, so we're good.
Alright, good.
For a second, I was like, wait, where is it? But it was fine. Yeah. Arven. For a second, I was like, oh my god, I didn't check for Arven's.
Yeah,
No.
That's good.
This guy's not happy with us.
Yeah, we slow rolled the Poffin and then and then have lethal.
First blast.
Yeah, if they KO'd the Duskull there, we probably would have had to do something with like Turo. I really don't even know. We probably would have lost.
Yeah.
No, we could have used Fez actually. Potentially, we could have gotten Charizard Fez KO.
Let's go. We're the best.
Yeah, nicely done.
Easy. Dude,
How's that?
Charizard mirror, easy. I don't know what you're worried about. Well, Grant, thank you so much for coming on here today and teaching us how to play Charizard with Dusknoir. I had a lot of fun learning, and you are so knowledgeable about the deck. You can tell it with everything you're saying. You've really thought out this deck, and it's so awesome to see that. And you're very passionate, so thank you so much for coming on. For anyone who doesn't know, Grant also does Poke Beach articles. Do you have Metafy or any platform that you really like for people to contact you through?
I have
I have a coaching link in
Mhm.
Discord, or not in Discord, on Twitter
Okay.
or X now. So the coaching link is on X on my profile. But Discord or Twitter/X is a good way to reach me. But yeah, definitely check out my articles on PokeBeach. And hopefully I didn't lose you guys with all the technical yapping. Yeah, hopefully it was helpful. I really been enjoying this deck, but it gets a little complicated sometimes.
Hey guys, thank you again for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, but don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below and leave a comment on what deck you want to see next. If you want to see more of my content, check out Twitter and Twitch. I stream and post regularly, and the links are linked down below in the description. Bye bye!